Those are in the Tome of Foes, aren't they?
No, those are in Volos.
Okay.
Everything awful's in Volos.
Nilbogs are also in Volos. That's another one of the 5 worst.
You heard me.
Booyah, 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 booyah.
Okay, so what's next?
Well, and Seeker will just like kind of breathe out and then say, "Well, with regards to our investigation, we know it's not a night hag. Do you have any ideas?" Looking towards Caitlin Chubb. Now that we know there's 2 horrible creatures in the city, rather than just one.
Yeah, Lucius will bring Caitlin Chubb up to speed with what went down in his dream.
Caitlin, she seems still convinced, and she's so stubborn that you're not sure what would persuade her otherwise. That the night hag that she's been, the hag that she's been focusing on, is the same creature that you're hunting, and for some reason you guys just can't see it. That's what she's convinced of. That becomes kind of apparent over the course of the conversation.
Going into such an investigation with a certainty like that is dangerous, because if you're wrong, then you could get blindsided and stabbed in the back. So, like, we would need more proof that that is the case before we could make that claim.
Is anyone... Are we still around Caitlin Chubb?
Right now you guys are still talking
Yes.
to her, as far as I know.
Okay, well, I'm gonna... I mean, I don't have anything else to say in front of Caitlin, but...
Okay?
If you want us to wrap this up, I
Yeah.
think we're coming to the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever she'll do on her end. Do you leave her with the impression that you're still going to pursue the pie shop?
Yeah, I tell her I'm going to look into the flail snail.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta have... Yeah.
Florian's the only one not interested in this hag anymore, huh? Okay.
I mean... Would you be up...
She's selling pies. You don't even know what evil she's up to.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I actually kind of agree with Florian on this one.
At the end of it, where she leaves you then, if we're done with Caitlin, is once you're ready to... Once you feel you've learned everything you need to, once you're ready to mount an assault, or however you're going to do it, she will give you the hag's name that she has learned.
Okay.
I mean, that right there should be Florian's motivation. How often do you get to learn a hag's name?
It is compelling. I don't deny that. But again, I don't know that we should be attacking creatures just because they're in the city limits and happen to be a hag.
I mean...
They have committed murder.
What are the pies made of?
Not magic.
The pies you guys ate were definitively beef.
Yeah.
I told you to get the chicken.
They didn't have chicken. They only had beef.
Yeah.
They were the best freaking meat pies I've ever had in my life. I don't know what your problem is.
What store did you go to?
It's like... they turned the sheet upside down. I was like, oh, we're supposed to go to 169, not 196. Whoops.
Well, shit. That makes this whole day a wash.
No, they went to the correct shop.
Oh.
Sometimes I think there's something wrong with your taste buds. Like, you don't even drink coffee, you drink sludge.
Alright, getting away from Caitlin Chubb, I'm curious, what do you want to say?
Yeah. What do you have for us now that we don't?
I mean, how good of a look did you get at the keeper of the smoke shop?
And we were pretty close. Did we ever?
We were.
Like, I guess. Yeah, we were in a room with him. I guess we should just ask. Like, do we have any reason to? Like, did we see him very visibly holding something, and it's just like, well, clearly that's not a Russian shot.
Oh yeah, his pipe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so.
The thing is, the only part of his body that was uncovered was his head, because he was wearing flowing robes and relaxing on a cushion, but... Oh, I'm sorry, and his feet. No, he was wearing boots at the time, as I recall.
Was he holding the pipe with both hands, though?
Just with one, but he was wearing heavy gloves.
And so Seeker will kind of run that through again and then say, like, I mean, the gloves are somewhat suspicious. I don't see any reason not to look into this.
But again,
if you're just relaxing on a cushion smoking a pipe, why would you have heavy gloves on? I could see like thin gloves for polite society or whatever, but not like woolen mittens.
I just assumed it was a cultural thing.
I mean, we would have noticed if his fingers were bending the wrong way, I think.
Well, not if the gloves were specifically designed to give us the wrong impression.
Yeah.
Also, we were kind of high, so...
He actually had 6 tentacles and, like, segmented eyes.
Listen, we don't talk about that bad trip. That was a very...
We don't talk about when drunk Gus brought us there.
How would you like to pursue this inquiry?
Do we go back in there and ask to partake with the master of the place again?
Well, I think first thing we do is we get a good night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have exhausted all of my 3rd level spells.
Fair enough.
And then if we think that we're going to go hard on this, because I think if we get into close contact with him and we bring it to him and it turns out to be him, we have to assume we're going to get into a fight.
Right.
So we have to make all the preparations we need as though we were about to fight a Rakshasa.
What is the preparations we need to fight a Rakshasa?
Do any of you know how to get the heck out of Dodge? Because I got this spell, it's great, I've just gone.
I have...
That's what it's
I'm
called.
looking at this spell, this list of capabilities of Rakshasa, and it's not great.
I have
It's not a good time
teleportation
for us.
abilities and the ability to fly. But then that's just me.
I can create a magic mouth. I have Metal Badger.
I don't know what you're doing with that. I don't want to know what you're doing with that magic mouth.
I've already did what I wanted to do with that magic mouth.
Magic mouth.
Because I'm looking at like our previous conversation about how we're screwed if we can't cast spells on something, and I'm reading here Rakshasa can't be affected or detected by spells of 6th level or lower, and I'm thinking that's a bad time.
You know, that actually registers something with me, because remember, if he can't be detected with magic 6th level or lower, how many people do you know in this town that can cast 6th level spells? Like, speaking in game terms. And Lucius gestures toward where Caitlin Chubb would theoretically be. You know, her house or whatever.
Make an Arcana check. Make this add advantage because you have a diviner in your party.
Do you want me to make that Arcana check? 'Cause I'm
No, Lucius, because
I'm
he's
pretty
the
good
one who
at
brought
okay,
it up.
okay.
But he can make it add advantage.
Do I want to take a 12 or the 12? How about a
Take
17?
17?
Yeah.
Most of the kinds of spells that you're aware that Seeker would use, and as you've had several conversations with Caitlin Chubb by now as well, would not be higher than 6th level. A lot of things about how to seek out, detect certain kinds of creatures, detect certain kinds of evil, detect certain kinds of magic. Even really powerful divination spells, really useful ones like identify. Excuse me, I've got the burps because I'm drinking my Gatorade too quickly. Like identify. Yeah. These are all less than 6th level spells. To find spellcasters higher than that, you're going to one of the magic colleges, pretty high up. Perhaps one of the crown's like personal magicians, or a priest, a high priest at one of the temples. Level 6 magic is pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Thought comes to mind. Okay, and this might end badly if we try it, but it is a thought. It is immune to all spells. It's what it says. It's immune to all spells below 6th level, right?
No, it says it can't be affected or detected by spells of 6th level or lower unless it wishes to be.
I just read the magic immunity thing. It said immune. Let me see. Let me go back over there. I literally just closed it. I'm opening it again.
The unless it wishes to me is what worries me, because if I was a canny person attempting to go under guards, if someone was like kind of casually looking into me, I would let them see exactly what I wanted them to.
Mm-hmm.
So what's next?
I think that if you want to test that, you could probably try detect thoughts. that is a relatively minor spell. That it offers no, it doesn't influence the target in any way, and it doesn't cause any harm. But if it fails, we'll know. That'll be a dead giveaway.
I could look for surface thoughts. Then, if he is a Rakshasa, he'll know I did so because he'll have had the ability to not be affected by it. But if he's not one, then he won't.
So we're going to go take a long rest first and do all
Yeah,
this
I
on the
think-
4th?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so the day of the 4th, what are we doing?
Wishing that we could phone a friend. I'd like to call my good friend Brick Road to answer this question. Who's the flying pig? No.
See, the only phone friend I think we have is Tom Wolfe, because he has that sending stone.
I think we should send Tom Wolfe a sending stone and ask him what the flying pig appeared to him as. That might be good. That might be at least pertinent information.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Who's sending? Who's doing the sending?
I think
It's
that's
me.
the
I'm the one with the
stone.
sending stone.
He describes a visage similar to the one that Lucius saw in a dream. Although the setting was very different. It was a more comfortable setting to him. It was a room back here in Blue Worm, where he is now, where he received some training. That's what he describes, is this kind of blurry visage that seemed to be feeling him out for...
Alexander. Okay, go finish. I'm sorry, Brick Road.
Seems to be feeling him out for how receptive he was to be doing, like, Warlock bidding, which, of course, it turns out he wasn't.
Alexander,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of setting were you in when you did this ritual? I
Oh
forget.
God, what was
It
around
was
me?
like a horrible battlefield, wasn't it? And like he appeared to you as like the most stereotypical red-skinned.
He definitely appeared as that. I don't actually remember the background at all. I felt it was like I was just sitting there at a desk writing or something.
I don't recall either. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with just sitting there at my desk working on something, and then he showed up.
That's how it
So-
started, yes. And then yeah.
In either
So-
case, in any case, we had 3 accounts of encountering this flying pig. All of us were in fairly comfortable positions, although I was without clothing, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, that's when Lucius is most comfortable.
I mean, that's true. Let's be honest. But so we were all in not in like dire situation. Like we weren't shackled to a wall being flayed alive. No. Like we were like I was conversing with him as we would, with a client on the barge. I don't know. I'm just kind of musing aloud to myself right now. To anyone who will listen right now.
So the thing that I'm noticing here that makes it a little closer, but this did lead us astray with the Night Hag as well, is Rakshasas are affiliated with dreams. So maybe well,
Maybe
I mean, we could deal with that afterwards.
What are the chances it's just a mind flayer pretending to be a fiend? No.
Oh, that'd be really good.
So what is happening on the 4th? By the way, Lucius, you can go ahead and raise that level of exhaustion at the end
Yeah.
of your long rests.
I think we should go speak with Mr. Smoke Man. Maybe
Mhm.
do the detect thoughts plan and maybe get somebody to shake his hand. Maybe try and shake his hand.
Right.
Like just
There is one other thing that might be a little time pressing, is we do have to do something about this dead body. I wanted to do some investigation as to what he had been up to, but
oh
I
right.
in 4 sessions. Oh, this has been on the boat for 4 months. Like that's the only reason I'm bringing it up right now.
That's
Maybe
fair.
we could split up to do that. It doesn't.
Well, no, I don't think we should be splitting up to go deal with the Rakshasa. I don't
Right.
think that's a good plan.
Right.
Yeah, that's probably a bad scene.
Um,
Like, does the detect thought spell at all like do they have to make a saving throw when you cast it, or only when you're trying to dig deeper?
So it's when they're trying to dig deeper.
Okay.
And so this is my thinking of how I'm reading this creature's capabilities. Is that if I cast any spell at all that could affect this creature, it gets to decide whether it does or not. Even if it's not something that would normally get a saving throw, because it says it gets to, even if it if it affects it, not whether it gets a save against it. So because of that, I think that if I'm checking something surface thoughts, which is currently actively deciding not to be detected by me, I will detect that in their surface thoughts. Or I won't be able to detect their surface thoughts, in which case that also gives the game away.
Uh-huh.
That's my thinking. Either it's going to notice me casting the spell, and thus we'll understand that, or we won't be able to use the spell at all, and then we'll understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not gonna want to be in the room alone with him when you do that. No.
I can cast it as long as we're within 30 feet. So I think we cast it from outside near his office.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of us should try and shake his hand. Just do like a physical check as well.
Seems right up your alley, Gus.
Gus trusts a handshake. A firm handshake.
Uh-huh.
I'll be in the room with you then, Gustavus, because no one's going into that place alone.
Do you want to make this detect thoughts check before the handshake check? Just so that we can do one outside and then go inside if we need to?
Right. I think we should do the safer of the two first.
I think that's not the handshake.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's what we do then.
Okay.
That's our immediate plan for the next day, is we find somewhere within 30 feet of his office, and then I'm going to cast the spell.
Yeah, but that's like tomorrow. What are we doing today, though?
I thought that was today.
I thought
You guys took a long rest on the 3rd.
Oh,
Yeah.
That brings us to the morning of the 4th. Are you doing this in the morning?
As soon as the smoke shop opens.
You know right where the dead man's den is. Oh, the smoke shop never closes.
Yeah.
You were there at all hours of the night. So yeah, theoretically, you can just go to a back alley behind.
Smoke shop.
Likely to be a rough neighborhood, though.
It's fine. I got you. They know me here.
I need everybody who's going. Are you all going as a group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we go as a group.
We're trying to get that group. If we get asked, our story is we're trying to get a group discount at the Dead Men's Den.
I also think that because of the interactions we had with him in the past, where he seems to hate lying, and he also gave himself out to also hate fiends,
Mm-hmm.
that if we go in afterwards, we have this discussion with him, we do the handshake test or whatever, and he finds out what we're doing, if we just come straight with him, guys, we might get an ally instead of an enemy. If it turns out we're wrong.
Yeah.
But you are all 5 going into Wharftown towards the
Yeah.
smoke shop together. Okay. Then
Right.
I need everybody individually make a stealth check.
Uh-oh.
That's gonna
Unless
be
you
hilarious.
just choose to fail this. If you decide you don't want to make it, that's fine.
Why would we, I don't see a reason why I would be trying to be stealthy.
Okay. Then you don't have to
I'm
roll.
just trying not to be as obvious as Gus, so I feel pretty good about you not trying to be stealthy.
So put Gus down
Right.
for automatic fail.
Sure. Like, literally, Gus is just walking down the street. What?
We're looking
Swinging his
for
arms, whistling.
14 or better.
Ha!
Nope, Lucius doesn't get it.
15.
15?
Oh, I'm at disadvantage from armor. No.
Okay.
We're all arms interlocked, singing, go down the road. What's
Gotta
stealth?
go chase-
So the 5 of you are
gotta go
circling
chase-
around and going into an alleyway behind
Yep.
the smoke shop. And the alleyway gets used periodically by people in the smoke shop. So there's probably people out here who are kind of like drifting away. Maybe one or two people that have been thrown out for non-payment, perhaps. Casting Detect Thoughts and reaching around.
Yep.
Bear with me just 1 second.
No,
Hey,
it's
you
fine.
know-
It's a complicated thing.
Yeah.
This actually works out really well because Seeker's the one that passed his stealth check, and he's the one casting spells. We're diverting attention from him,
I don't need to be the stealthiest person. I just need to be stealthier than Gus.
which is not difficult.
It's like I always see the tagline of like ordnance people. When
You reach a mind that you are pretty sure is Savad.
Okay.
After landing on a couple of hobbleheads here and there. And the surface thoughts are very distracted. He's made a promise for a larger than usual order of a more dangerous than usual drug. And he's trying to think of an angle where he can make this profitable.
Okay.
But he seems very distracted, as though his mind is split in a couple different directions. But that's the thing that's on the forefront. That's the thing that he's contemplating at this exact moment.
Okay. And I'm not going to go any deeper.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell everyone what I discovered.
Do you know what drug it is?
You don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It doesn't seem super relevant. Why?
Well, probably because we have all those drugs from what's his name still on the barge.
Lucius says, I know that one of the new Keyskin ambassador's family members is a bit of an addict. I wonder if this is if they're arranging for this guy to be their source.
And Seeker shrugs and says, either way, don't bring this conversation up when we're talking to him.
Right.
But let's go in, talk to him. How do we want to play this? I see two ways. One, we come up with some kind of distraction. We say that we're looking for some information that we don't have. You find a way to shake his hand. The second way that I'm more comfortable with, just because I've seen how good he is at insight, is we just come straight with it. We say, hey, we're looking for a fiend in town. We don't know who it is.
All we
This is the only thing we know. We're just trying to cross names off of a list.
I think you've already answered it for us, because you said he prefers the straight path. So I don't see why we should do him the insult of trying to be certain.
right.
Florian, that was a pretty heavy sigh, buddy.
Wasn't me.
What's next?
Can we go in then?
All five together?
Yes.
You are instructed at the door, although they will bid you entry. Again, they don't allow you to bring weapons in. They collect those at the door. And Scrappy definitely counts as a weapon for this purpose. The metal monster will have to wait outside.
Pretty
Okay.
close.
Do you give Scrappy any standing instructions?
Wait here.
If you hear screaming, come in and help.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you tell them? That you are looking to seek audience
to
with
Savad.
Savad?
Yes.
And at first, they start to give you the runaround a little bit. Like he's far too busy this morning. Nobody knows who you are. But after a second or two of this, Starfingers enters. And she says in kind of a sing-song tone, she said, "Oh, these are friends of Savad's. Open your eyes and see them." And the guy looks back and forth between Starfingers and you all and says, my apologies, I didn't realize. Of course, I will take you to him immediately." Starfinger says there's no need, that she will do it. And she gives you this big bright smile. Says, "Please, follow me."
Thank you, my lady.
What is Starfingers?
Starfingers is a human. She's very young. She's like 15, 16 years old.
Alright.
And hooked on opium. What? She does take you into Savad's quarters. And, again, the most opulent room you've ever seen. Stacks of cushions and blankets and sequins everywhere. And Savad is there, and he does indeed look very preoccupied when you enter. And Starfingers makes the introductions and then sees herself out. Savad takes a long draft off of his pipe. He is indeed wearing gloves and boots. He's, my friends, every conversation with you, I end wishing it were longer, and counting the moments until the next. Please, tell me what Savad can do for you this day.
Gus is going to reach his hand out in a handshake and say, well, we came here for some information.
He looks a little confused at you, and after a moment he passes forth his pipe. He says, be careful with it. I do not know if humans can handle this leaf.
He goes, and I'll just kind of wave no and be like, I was going for a handshake.
And he brings the pipe back to his mouth. Well, first he cordially offers it to anybody else.
Lucius will accept.
Oh, God.
And he seems very pleased when Lucius takes it. And he says, it comes from trees so tall no human has ever climbed them. Lucius takes a deep pull of the pipe, and it is this very earthy flavor to it, and it fills your lungs very pleasantly. And you can't help but notice that when you exhale, it's like the smoke takes on bizarre shapes of its own.
Fascinating. Lucius will pass the pipe back to him and settle back on the cushion.
He declines Gus's handshake. Says, I am still learning human customs, but it is my understanding that this is something we do at the end of a deal, not at the beginning of a conversation. Are you here to make a deal with me, my friend?
Possibly.
He nods. Says,
And
I would hear your words.
when we last spoke, you expressed a distaste for the machinations of fiends in the city and the blowing up of houses.
He says that he has not heard news of houses spontaneously exploding these past few weeks. The most lively event that he's aware of was the arrival of Sigurd Tensails, but this is now a month past.
I
And
guess nobody's
Seeker,
heard about our barge exploding.
Seeker spreads his hands and says, so you see we're still doing our jobs. And we've gathered some new information about a fiend residing somewhere within the city. And because of this, we've generated a list of possible types of fiends. And Seeker will kind of bring out the list.
Just pulls out the monster manual on page 7.
On page 73.
Okay.
And then, and Seeker will hand it over.
And he reaches out the hand, holding the pipe, and he takes... So, what's the structure of this list? Like, at the top of it, does it, like, say Rakshasa and, like, a stick figure of, like, a cat man?
I think it's gonna mostly just... Or at least my understanding is it mostly just features the 4 fiends that we mentioned, and then some discerning characteristics. And then also a list of what possible races they could look like.
Right.
And you see the friendly... As he looks over the page, all the friendliness in his face drains away. He says, I see why you bring this to me.
And Seeker spreads his hand. Oh,
I admit, my friend, if indeed we are, that I am hurt. And he hands the page back.
And Spreaker spreads his hands and says, I would love more than anything to apologize to you. But we have this list, and possibly, and Seeker kind of waves at it, if you'd be willing to do anything to dissuade our opinions, I, as I said, would be joyous to hear it.
He asks what would persuade you that he is not this thing.
And Seeker points to the description of their hands.
So what is it?
could
What does
see
the actual
yours.
description say on the page?
their hands are backwards.
That's what Destil said, right?
Yeah. Their hands are backwards.
Yeah.
They're like, so like they're normal hands, but like just at the wrist, they're flipped.
Yeah, the palm, like what we would consider the back of a hand would be like the palm of their hand.
Who hired you?
Hired.
It could not possibly be the cartel, but it must be if you know of my hands. I value my life very highly, and I assure you, I would like to see our friendship continue. Whatever the cartel is giving you in gold, I can give in platinum.
Can I do an insight check on that? Can I do an insight check on that?
So what are you doing to facilitate this insight check?
I'm going to try to figure out if he genuinely thinks we're from this cartel. Because earlier in the conversation, in Seeker's mind, he dropped hints that he may have spoken to us recently.
Mm-hmm.
And so Seeker was like, okay, so if it's him, he's not hiding it. But now he appears to be talking about this cartel, trying to hide it.
Make an insight check.
All right. That is a 15.
This is completely out of left field. As far as Seeker knows, you have no knowledge of any kind of cartel. You have no idea what he's talking about. There's no... the closest thing you would know operating within Dunfoss would be like the gentleman's operations. And that doesn't rise to the level of what a cartel would be.
Mm-hmm. And Seeker will shake his head. He says, I don't know about any cartel.
Perhaps not the cartel, but one of their...
Agents.
One of their agents. Perhaps you do not know who has hired you. Would you like me to tell you?
We weren't given your name by anyone.
No, we came and sought you out on our own recognizance.
We came to speak with you because we do have a good relationship with you, and we wanted to.
And yet you asked to see my hands.
We know you appreciate honesty.
No one in Dunfoss knows about my malady. No one could possibly know unless you were told.
Well, like, your malady, do your hands bend the wrong way?
He says he believes you when you say you were not hired by the cartel. It's very possible they would not hire you openly. And perhaps he does not need to dissuade you from working with them or their agents with platinum. Perhaps simply telling you the story of how Savad came to Dunfoss would be enough. Is this a story you'd like to hear?
Very
Absolutely.
much.
It's not a particularly entertaining story. In fact, it is very sad. And I regret to say it does not cast me in the best light. Do you still wish to hear it?
Lucius starts filling her pipe.
He tells you that he comes from the city in the far north, in the jungles, a Tabashi city. And the people of Dunfoss don't believe that the denizens of the jungles build city, but he assures you that they do. Cities in the treetops, spanning for miles and miles, so high up and so far away that humans could not hope to reach them. You could pass beneath the forest and walk for weeks and never know that my people live and work and breed and die above your heads. I regret that I turned my back on this city very early. I fell in with an alliance of one of the Orc Kings of the North, who had friends amongst the Snake Tribes. And it is my deepest shame to inform you that we made excursions into the south, into the borderlands, where dwarves and gnomes and some humans make their lives on the frontier, and we stole from them their children for the Snake Tribe slave pits. This thing I did willingly, and it made me great value in gold. And I sought to bring this gold back to my people to enrich them, but they hated me for it, and they were right to do so. They cast me out of the tribe. They cast me out of my village. My people do not believe in execution the way that Dunfossans do. They could not take my life from me and keep their spirituality intact. So instead, And he holds up his hands. And from what you can tell, his fingers under the gloves look like they bend the right direction. They took my hands. Without my claws, I could no longer climb up the trees to reach the village where I was born. I took my...
Then?
I'm sorry, what?
They're prosthetic then?
He tells you that he took his riches south. He had heard of great magics that could be wielded in the various temples that could regenerate lost limbs. But when they heard how he came by the amputations, the temples turned him away one by one, until he learned of a man in Blue Worm who could build him new hands. And he calls for Starfingers to come back in. And he holds up his right glove. And Starfingers begins to undo the leather strap around his wrist as she draws the glove off. And you see his hand is made out of wood. Like a gnarled tree branch. Like roots intertwined. And you can see through it like it's just the bones that are made out of wood. But you see where it's bolted in and around his wrists with copper bolts that have runic insignias on them. And the hand seems very lithe and dexterous, and as he moves it around, you see a faint glow of light as it moves.
Oh, that's clever.
And especially Alex looking at this. This is something that a masterclass artificer could do, but we're talking world class. Once in a lifetime grandmaster work. Savad tells you that even with all of his riches, all of his gold from his evil past was not enough to make this purchase, to hire this artisan for his work. He required more of me. He told me I must give 6 of my teeth. And he opens his jaw wide. He has a cat mouth, but you can see where 6 of his teeth have been removed from the back of his face. And at this, he takes his wooden hand and he starts undoing the leather strap on his left hand. And he says, and even this, and he pulls the glove off to reveal a stump. His other glove is just padded inside. Even all of my wealth and all of my riches, I was only able to pay for one. So you see, I cannot be this creature that you seek.
Well, Florian's convinced. Yeah, I'm pretty sure
That's an incredible story.
those things regenerate. So, right.
That's very dire.
We came here. None of us. I at least I can say that I don't think any of us really thought it was you, but we had to be sure. But I
care not for your past, sir, but as long as you don't try to relive it, you have nothing to fear from me.
I'm, as far as Gus is concerned, he's paid his price. As long as he's been living right since then, it's okay.
Well, I mean, he still sells drugs to kids.
I know, but this is like medieval land. That's fine. Everybody sells drugs to kids.
Gus walks in and be like, Savad, stop selling drugs to the community. Savad's like, but Gustavo, I sell drugs in the community. That's a
Seeker's
great
thinking that not having hands is a really good excuse for not being able to show that your palms are on the back of your hands.
I'm glad someone else on the
Can
party.
the Rakshasas regenerate? Hold on.
Are you asking Savad?
No, I'm looking at the book. Trying to find them in the book. I closed the book again. I need to quit doing that.
Because Matt, the player, does not trust him one bit. But
No.
Florian, holy shit, what an amazing story. I believe every word of it.
Yeah. It doesn't say they can regenerate. They have limited magic immunity, innate spellcasting, and a claw attack. That's it.
Well, he doesn't have a claw attack no more anyway.
He does not. The hand that he has is not like a Tabashi's paw. It's not a cat's paw. This hand would still not be useful in climbing a tree. It's much more similar to a human hand.
Can you if I ever lose a hand, can you make me one of those?
You're asking Savad?
No, I'm asking Alex.
I could probably do a whole arm. Just the hand seems like some kind of delicate work.
Okay. Could you just do like an arm on the end of my arm? Give me reach.
Oh my god. Savad
No,
begins to put his glove back on, and of course he needs Starfinger's help. And you see looks very sad at doing this. Like, this is something she's done once or twice in the past, having to remove his glove from his hand. So she clearly knows this story.
Sir Savad. Yeah, go ahead.
If you wish the secret kept, I'm not going to reveal it. Don't worry.
Yes. But, Sir Savad, we have received information that the flying pig creature that we have already talked to you about is living openly in the city, and that is why, like, there's only a few such creatures, fiends, that could do such a thing.
And again, he still looks hurt, and he says, I understand why he made your list in such a case.
Sir,
to see the creatures come, the speaking peoples of the jungles would be very strange and exotic to Dunfossin eyes. That I would come under suspicion is natural.
If we really believed you were this creature, trust me, we would not have come and talked to you like this. There would have been less conversation and more probably fire. And, like, I'm just going to look around. Fire?
Lucius lifts up his pipe for a second.
Seeker says that
there definitely would have been some magic missiles.
Now that you have been brought into our confidence, however, and that we're currently looking for this, if you come across any information that could be of value to us, and then Seeker just says, but we would prefer if you didn't let anyone else know that what we were looking for. We wouldn't want them to go deeper underground.
He says, alas, though perhaps your suspicions are understandable, I do regret that some measure of mistrust has appeared between us. For, though you seem to have your suspicions calmed, I cannot be sure that you haven't been manipulated by the cartel that seeks me.
What cartel?
And he describes that there's one of the Orc Kings in the north has lashed together an alliance with the Snake Tribe and a group of Sylvan Elves. And they go down to the south and they find predominantly human and gnomish slaves to bring back for the Snake Tribe's pits.
I will do what I guess you have that leaf that forces you to speak the truth, correct?
So I have some measure of it.
I'll pay for it and then smoke it in your presence.
He tells you that it is possible the cartel has hired you on, has sent you on this chase without you knowing it. That perhaps you're being manipulated, such is their reach. That you could speak the truth, but it would not be the full truth because you don't know the full truth. This is how they operate.
Unless the cartel is manipulating us by sending zombie leech monsters on our boat to kill us when we sleep, then also a very strange naked man in the sewers. I doubt that the cartel has anything to do with this particular incident.
Make a persuasion check.
Can I aid him in this?
How?
I'm gonna use my last 2 blips.
Okay.
Okay, well, never mind then.
There goes
Oh, come on!
That's worse.
It's worse.
Hey, Treble, I'll do you one solid. I will give you 4 of my blips since you gave me 4 of yours.
Here go all the blips. Alright. Takes a long puff of his pipe. He says that he is been very, very careful to assure that his activities here in Dunfoss could not raise the ire of the cartel, and they are in fact very far away. And he has some knowledge, not much, but some, of the various supernatural happenings that you all have been involved with. As I've said, I believe I can forgive the suspicion, though I should hope that it wouldn't come up again.
Certainly not.
My heart aches that this flawed man before you is the only Tabashi you will ever have the happenstance to meet, for I am not a particularly noteworthy example of my people. Alas, there are many miles between my village and here. I would then offer you my service. What could you have of me to assist in your hunts?
What? Okay, so what do we know? Like, so sometime in the last year, the black jacket, the black jackets.
Black jackets.
Yellow jackets are insects.
Right,
Yes.
I know that. My brain though.
Your
I have
brain
the
doesn't know that.
I have the brain problem.
Your brain's an insect.
Sometimes it just buzzes around in my head.
Oh no, it's the flying pig's got the treble. Oh no!
Okay,
So-
so
We know
sometime
that
in the last year.
the black jackets have stopped being interested in interested in supernatural going-ons. They have started to ignore sources, although that could just be because Caitlin Chubb is Caitlin Chubb. We're not going to bring that up. Also, the letters have appeared in the last year. So, I think we should ask him is there anybody, other strange individuals he's aware of in town that would be semi-exotic, such as him, that he would be aware of? Like,
By which you mean another Tabashi?
not another Tabashi, but just anything like anything that's not in the normal lineup that he'd be aware of. Because obviously, whatever the flying pig is, they're not They're not a human. They don't look human. They don't look human. They don't look elf. I mean, they've got pretty much like they might look tiefling. But again, like I think saying that a Camion cut its own wings off is overthinking things.
He tells you that he will keep his eyes and ears open for such a person.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, do you
That's
know
all
of
we can
any?
ask.
Yeah. Do you have any other leads on any of the flying pig activities that have kind of reached your ears?
He says, alas, this is not his line of work. He has been placed in Dunfoss to bring pleasure to those who seek it. He lacks your skills and resources in investigation.
Okay. Gus looks very frustrated.
I think we should start trying to make our exit.
Next step.
Okay?
Yeah.
And your things are returned to you, and Scrappy is still waiting for you out on the street.
Thank you for the opportunity to try the herb that he was smoking.
Oh, it was the good stuff.
And all right, I legitimately don't have any other things. Like Gus is literally just going to ignore Seeker, and it's getting to the point where he's going to ignore Seeker and go speak to the gentleman and see if he has heard anything else about the, because like the insult that the gentleman took to just Alex and Florian defending themselves in a low-level thugs in an alley probably is going to be a little bit less than the displeasure he has at the flying pig snatching one of his enforcers off of the street in daylight.
If we
I'll
do
go
get a
with you.
message from him, from Savad, saying that he has found some information, I think we should go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll and if you're really set on speaking to the gentleman, yeah, I'll go with you.
Gus doesn't have a whole lot of contacts in the city. He spent most of his time before moving into the Shallows with you guys entirely in Wharftown. Like occasionally he'd go to other things and like just like intimidate people, but he didn't, for money owed. But that's it. He doesn't have. It's pretty much all he's good for. So he's kind of like up against the wall here. He wants to help, but he doesn't really have anything he can contribute past here.
So when we pick it up next week, we're going to go see the gentleman?
Yeah. I think Gus is going to go see the gentleman.
All right.
My plan, just so that you can prepare if you need to, is to go talk to the person who gave us the riddle book also.
Giorgio?
Yeah, see if we can, from him, find out what exactly has been changing about the Black Jackets.
Okay. So we'll call it there for the week.
Yep.
And I'm going to step away for 2 seconds while you guys figure out your blip situation. And when I come back, we will award some.
Yay.
So who's the most creative today?
Seeker for the plan to rule out Night Hag.
Yeah, no, that was a good plan. Went about as well as we could expect. Flail snail.
Flail snail. Alright, badass.
Oh, Lucius.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lucius.
Sounds
Yeah.
good to me.
For stalling the flying pig.
Party goals.
Hmm.
And intangibles if you have a good intangible one.
Party goals should be
Florian for initially twigging to that, hey, something's wrong in this meat pie shop by going to the bathroom.
yeah. Okay.
Florian for going to the bathroom.
Florian for going to the bathroom. There you go.
And for intangibles.
Okay,
Pity.
not above our pity. Okay. I'm going to, unless somebody else has another idea, I'm going to say Alexander for reminding everybody we have the dead body of a noble on the ship. And then we should probably take care of that sooner rather than
later, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, but in fairness, whose fault is it that we have the dead body of a noble on the ship?
Okay, in more fairness, we have the dead body of a noble being carried around with us.
Is he on the ship or is it in the bag of holding?
It's on the ship in a burial shroud.
Does
Oh.
everybody
that's not
believe
as
Savad?
Does everybody what? Yeah,
Savad?
I mean,
No,
yeah.
not at all. Not
Okay.
even
Alex is pretty sure if he was actually
I mean,
a demon,
it's
those
all of a
body
sob
parts
story.
would have grown back.
I don't think if he was a Rakshasa specifically, I think he would probably have. Rakshasas are too according
Proud
to
to
the-
like have a junky you know.
Well, it's
like-
it's not even that. They are very proud, but I'm talking about like they're too paranoid to not have the protection of a first level spell like detect thoughts. Like
Fair.
at all times. Like I think that like as far as I'm concerned, like you got that spell off, so that wipes him off the list.
It's the one defining trait that differentiates between a Rakshasa and a Tamashi. Like, it's so defining. And getting rid of it is just like, well, now what is he? And it's just like, I don't buy it.
All right. So, on a scale of 1 to 10,
0.
0.
I know what question you're going to ask. The answer is 0.
You still don't know who you're accusing after all this work.
No, I think we made some progress, though. I just wish we had more answers than questions.
Who wants to make a case for some blips this week?
I'll go.
Go.
Ideals. There are infinite truths. We must experience as many as we can and figure out their validity for going to eat a meat pie.
Wait, did I miss something there? Is the meat pie a truth?
Yeah, everyone says the meat pies are great, and they are great, and there's no magic involved with them.
Okay.
They are a pure meat pie. Neutral alignment, true neutral. Sometimes you have laws, but laws are most restrictive. Sometimes you have to be good, but there's no way to define good. For not caring about the hag. He doesn't know what the hag's up to, and sure, they may be evil, but are they really doing anything evil now?
You don't know what's in the pies.
Not magic.
Lucius kept asking the question.
It's beef.
Like,
We were told.
It's actually Beth.
Oh no.
Yeah,
so it's right, brand FUD.
as say, E with an umlaut.
You with an umlaut. Can an E have an umlaut?
Why not?
It's John Beef.
Flaws. There's no such thing as a lie for believing Savad entirely.
So, Florian believes Savad.
Yeah.
McDohl does not believe Savad.
Not one bit. McDohl wants to accuse Savad, but he is very much alone in this.
I could go.
Alright, Seeker.
Personality traits. Chaotic good. Good is only taken from those that can afford it. Chaos is taking them for all they're worth. For telling Caitlin Chubb that the true name of the fiend isn't payment, it's part of the job description.
Okay.
Ideals. Opportunity is everywhere if you can see it. For finding a way to use the True Seeing spell to both accomplish our goals and at the same time Caitlin Chubb's goals.
You didn't accomplish Caitlin Chubb's goals, though, because her goal was to destroy the hag.
Her goal was for us to use the True Seeing to look into the hag. And I found a way for us to use it for our thing, too.
The important thing is that Seeker believes that.
Yeah. And finally, flaws. Anybody can be fooled except for me. For reading the room and determining that the party was extremely trusting of Sisvad and deciding, well, I'm going to have to investigate this on my own because cut off his freaking hands. Come on, guys.
So Seeker doesn't believe Savad.
No. Not even a little.
Who's next?
I'll go.
Go.
Neutral good, I must be a benefactor and strive to leave things in a better state than I found it. For going, oh yes, no, if there's a hag, we're totally going to kill this hag. That's not a thing that should stand in the middle of a populated area.
Gus does not believe in a good aligned hag.
No.
Okay.
Note.
Can there be a good aligned demon? That's kind of how he sees it. Ideal, my companions are my support structure, and I must do what I can to protect them from themselves. For going and for offering to shake the potential Rakshasa's hand.
They don't do shake. They do kind of like a palm bump.
Palm bump, yeah.
You can't really do a fist bump with a Rakshasa.
It just looks upside down and weird. It's fine.
And that's it for me. Oh, I guess I don't know if I actually I think I uploaded the video, but I don't remember. I've slept since then. It's been a while.
Well, why don't you go check and let me know? Lucius, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I'll go next.
What you
I
got?
have my alignment, lawful neutral, take place in society, work well for your fellow people, take care of your own, for being the one willing to jump on the grenade of going to sleep.
Okay.
I have knowledge is paramount for his conversation with what's his that? God, I can't read my own handwriting. Mr. Compt.
Good old Compt. I'm glad I got to plug that character in here.
And finally, my flaws, double or nothing, for being willing to sass the flying pig when he clearly has the upper hand. Because Lucius wasn't having any of it.
So Lucius is convinced that this hag is not who you're looking for.
Yeah, and also that the flying pig is a fraud of some stripe.
Is a what?
A fraud of some stripe.
So where does Lucius sit on Savad?
For Savad, though, he could go either way, honestly.
So we have one definitely yes, one definitely no, and Lucius is on the fence.
Gus also believes him.
So 2 definitely yes, 1 definitely no. Alex, what you got for me?
I've got lawful neutral. Always be willing to take the law into your hands, but no further. For you know what, she's just making pies. We don't have to murder her.
Probably don't have to murder her. Now, what if you don't have hands and you have like somebody make you a crazy tree hand? Can you take the law into that?
I think take the law into your crazy tree hands, but then I couldn't claim it for this month because I'd have to change it. And then I've got the dead deserve dignity, the living deserve to reap for what they sow, for dealing with the corpses from the mega dungeon.
If we don't deal with the Von Church corpse on the barge next session, it is probably going to start to stink up the joint.
Right.
Won't be the first time.
Wait, is Gentle Repose a ritual? Lucius, can we tap you for that?
Just find out.
Put that on the to-do sheet. That's it for me.
Okay.
Okay. Gotta close my character sheet.
What was the most creative solution to a problem this session?
That was Seeker for the whole setup to knock out a hag, to say that the hag is not. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And who furthered the party's goals the most?
We can give that to Florian for doing his part in investigating the pie shop. We can give it to Florian for going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Going to the
Technically.
Who was the badass?
We give it
That
to
Lucius.
yeah, for his interactions with the demon / devil.
And 1 for intangibles.
Don't remember. Anyone?
It can't have been more than 5 minutes ago.
What? Intangibles for Alexander, for reminding everybody that we probably should take care of the dead noble sooner rather than later.
I think that's going to be high on our agenda in the next session because we're kind of short on leads, and I think we're returning the victim of a kidnapped person to his family might be able to shake something loose.
If we can get an airtight box, I can cast Prestidigitation, clean the inside of the box. How can it decompose?
We're level 6 right now, yes?
Yes.
So blips are worth 300. Lucius takes the straw poll this week.
Oh, yay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so Alex has... You have 6 blips. You
Yep.
just earned 3, and you have to roll all of them over.
Yep.
Are you going in next week with 6?
I'm pretty sure I'm way far away from 7th, so yeah.
Okay, Florian, you earned 4 this week. And you have 6. You got to roll all 4 of them over. Are you going to go in next week with 6?
I do? Alright, I'll take your word for it. Yeah, I'll go in with 6.
Gus, you have 0
Yep.
blips, and you just
Correct.
earned 2.
2, yes. Okay.
Lucius,
Mm-hmm.
you have 2 and earned 5, so you have to roll over at least 1.
Roll over 1. Huh? Okay.
Are you going to go next week with 6?
Yeah, I'm going in with 6. I'm nowhere near 7.
And Seeker, you have 4 and earned 4, so you've got to roll over at least 2.
Yeah, I'm going in with 6.
What are blips worth?
300.
300.
Alright, so everybody's... did you put the video up this week?
I did not. In fact, I'm looking for it, and I I thought I at least downloaded it, but I can't even
Well,
find
remember,
where I downloaded it.
we didn't play last week.
I know, not last week, but the last time. Yeah, I have the one before that uploaded, and I thought I maybe accidentally deleted the wrong videos. Oh no! After I uploaded the other ones.
We'll
Stress.
see if we can figure it out. All right.
Yeah.
So we come back next week. We will either accuse or not accuse an old pie lady or a tree-handed cat man, or I have no idea who wrote any of this nonsense. I'm sure you guys will figure it out.
I doubt that.
You at home, have you figured it out?
Thanks for playing.